I could tell that she figured out what I looked like.
You're listening to the BulkLoads Podcast, your number one resource for everything bulk freight trucking. And this is episode 234.
Hey guys, Jared Flynn with the BulkLoads Podcast. Got Larry in here with me.
Hey, how's it going?
Larry, did that sound believable?
No, not really.
Well, Jared's out this week, taking care of some other business, so he passed the reins over to me and Larry. So we're going to be doing the intro and outro for this one. Larry, what do you think?
I love it. We should do this more often.
I don't know if he'd let us after this one.
We'll see how this one goes.
Right. Well, this week's tip of the week, guys, it's not really a tip. However, we are going to highlight what Larry and Bulk Insurance Group, what they've been doing. They've been excelling over there the past 6 months. Larry, if you kind of want to touch on some numbers and just kind of give a highlight of what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say we're having a ton of fun over on the bulk insurance side. And that's due to the people that we're meeting that are loyal members of BulkLoads. And so it's been really fun to get to connect with them and offer really great services. So what we did, we launched in June of 22. And since then we've onboarded 20 clients in 10 different states. We've written about $600,000 in premium, and we've saved our clients, listen to this, we've saved our clients $120,000 in their premiums. So we're having fun. We're helping our clients, and we're here to serve.
Yeah, I'd say definitely. We're just blessed by whenever we launched, just how our members reacted and the business they've given us. But most of all, the trust. Just with being able to submit a form and have you guys quote the insurance and trusting you guys for that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do anything without BulkLoads and Smart Freight and Bulk TMS. I mean, you guys, the relationships that we have, we're here to serve our clients on all of our platforms, and we're just acting like an extension with the Bulk Insurance Group as the insurance arm for that.
Yeah. So if you're listening right now and you want to get a quote, you want to get a piece of Bulk Insurance Group, how do they do that, Larry?
Yeah, you can go to bulkloads.com and click on the Bulk Insurance tab. From the website. From there, just fill out the form, and we'll have one of our sales guys reach out to you, and we'll start the dialogue.
Awesome. Well, today we actually have an interesting episode. It's kind of funny. It's a relaxed one, not so much about business, but it's actually about love. Which is kind of wild that we'd be doing an episode over that. But it's a crazy story. Zach with Damel Trucking actually talks about how he met his wife, his now wife, on BulkLoads.com. Zach's been a member with us since 2014, so almost our beginning. But yeah, he found his wife on BulkLoads.com. Who would have thought? That's crazy to me. That? Yeah. So we're always trying to think of new services to offer. So Match.com, kind of BulkLoads Match might be a thing in the future. Without further ado, here is Zach Morem with Damel Trucking.
Hey, Zach, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't get to, but my team, Caleb and Austin, they had the pleasure of meeting you last fall. And, man, they said awesome things, by the way, how valuable it was for them, especially Austin. He's kind of newer to our team, so just how much he got to learn the one-on-ones. But, man, first off, thank you for taking the time for visiting those guys when they were up in Minnesota this past fall.
Yeah, it was really great to meet them. I talked to them in the past a little bit, but it's always nice to talk to somebody when it's a tool that we use and to be able to express some feedback, which is, for us, is always positive. You guys do a fantastic job on that thing. So
yeah. Well, let's dive in just a little bit about yourself. How long have you guys been in the business, and kind of how did that get started?
So I moved back to the United States towards the end of 2014, and I moved back to my hometown, which was kind of a stopping point for me to continue on and go somewhere else. My dad started a business years and years ago And obviously my mom is part of it, and the primary part of the business is trucking, and it's construction trucking. And while I was here job hunting, my dad bought a hopper, and in Spamtown, USA, which is where I'm from, which is Austin, Minnesota, there's Hormel Foods, and there's a pretty good production of animal byproducts, meat and bone meal specifically, that we bought the hopper to haul. And he bought one, and he's kind of a one-man operation, and he asked for my help to try to dispatch this said hopper, and find additional loads for it, and it more or less blossomed from there.
What year was that?
I jumped on. What's that?
What year was that, Zach?
That was 2015.
Okay.
Yep. So it's fairly new.
And I wanted to ask you too, where did you say you moved back to the USA? Where were you?
I used to live in Columbia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was actually a elementary school teacher, and I moved to Columbia 2010, maybe 2011. I was down there for about 3.5 years, and I taught first grade in an international school.
Wow.
And it was an incredible experience. I loved it. I miss teaching. There's a lot of, obviously it's a separate issue, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on in teaching right now, and
Yep.
we could probably talk a whole another hour about that. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I came back here. I wanted to be, based out of somewhere in the U.S. So I was somewhat close to my family. I didn't want to start to raise a family in a place where it takes a minimum of 3 flights to get to. I would have been more than happy to raise a family in Columbia. It's a beautiful place. The perception of it is 100% wrong. But I always thought that, well, if I raise a family, I want to be close to my family. So I was looking for a job that would permit me to stay around, the Midwest, but still allow me to travel. Well, needless to say, what I do now doesn't really allow me to travel. So yeah, and basically I knew absolutely nothing about the industry. I mean, I knew I had a little background in trucking from growing up, with that in our backyard, but beyond that, the ag side, the bulk side, the hopper side, I didn't know what a hopper was, other than it was used to haul corn and beans.
So why your dad bought the hopper? Did he just see the opportunity with the Hormel plant and the byproducts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've worked with Hormel Foods, since I was a little kid. We do a lot of their outside maintenance, parking lot maintenance, grounds, snow removal, and then just a random assortment of things throughout the years that something will arise that they don't have a department for. And for some odd reason, there's been this thing where they just call my dad for it. It's very interesting. He could write a book about it.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously he's doing things right. If they're calling him versus other people, and he's taking care of them and taking care of them well.
Yeah. 100% dedication. That's for sure. And we did get a little help. My uncle, his brother works for a major 3PL, and has always just kind of pushed, expansion in the trucking realm beyond road construction. And this was kind of that next step. And so as I'm learning the industry, literally looking out the window, and there's like another hopper that shows up, and then another hopper that shows up, and it's like, what are you doing? I got to figure this out first before you start throwing all these at me. The idea behind it was that in the upper Midwest, in Minnesota, the construction season is a season. It's not year round. So a major issue we come across every year is that there are some employees that want to stay on and work, um, but we don't have that option. So our goal was to try to find something in the off season that we could keep some staff on that want to work. Um, and the hopper thing was year round. So we figured, well, we got a good opportunity here with Hormel, and let's see where this takes us. And you know, the like I said, the hoppers showed up, and we found out that all the hoppers we bought were the wrong size. So we made the transition, to the bigger, to the bigger, to the bigger hoppers. I remember the first load of wheat mids I picked up with a 66-inch side
Oh yeah,
hopper.
not gonna work.
Like, what the hell is this? I got a third of a load in here. It's
A whopping
all, it was
13,
all,
14 tons or whatever.
yeah. It was all, it was all trial and error, and we made some mistakes and stuff. But when you don't know anything about the industry, that's kind of what's going to happen.
Yeah, we call that tuition. That's
exactly
the learning.
Yep.
So we'll talk about your journey finding bulk loads. And again, we're going to get into this because everybody, the title of this is How You Met Your Wife on
Right.
Bulk Loads. I mean, and
Yes.
I know everybody's like dying to hear that, but talk about how you found bulk loads and then your experience with that.
So I it's not that exciting. My uncle, the one that I mentioned, his company was, I think that they were trying to get into the bulk side, much like you see a lot of these larger 3PLs, and
Yep.
he's the one who showed us that along with I don't even know if it's still in existence, hop loads. I know that was something that I used in the past, but and there was my first experience into actual load board, and that's where I built a lot of my base clientele, our customer base, off of just like cold calling some of these people that I found on bulk loads. And it's primarily how I was able to learn about the industry. I was able to pick apart the good and the bad. I mean, obviously you have that in every industry, but there's a select handful of people there that are responsible for kind of helping me and paving the way and learning all about this, and I'm extremely fortunate to them.
So you use the site a lot, just being brand new, really understanding the industry more.
As a learning tool,
as an education tool to just understand. I think that's 100%. One thing. Yeah. I'm saying this not to sell our product to anybody, but we always try to tell people that, hey, this isn't just a tool to find the connections, but to really build your business, but learn all aspects, whether you're on the forums, classifieds, news, like anything that we can do, the more you can study and understand the industry, the better decisions you're going to make.
Oh yeah. And it provides a lot of tools, a lot of links to go beyond of just finding that customer base, learning how to track your fuel, the washout thing, finding all the washouts, and the PC miler thing was huge, because it's just that little snippet there is well, I use Google, use Google Maps to find your lanes, but after being in it for a little bit, that PC miler tool is massive, because not only does it give you the right route or the trucking route, but it provides some numbers for what that lane is going to cost you, and that was a huge tool that I used starting this to go beyond just the Google Maps thing. That
Zach, I know as we speak, you've actually recently started exploring. We talked about Caleb and Austin visiting you, but even our TMS product and service.
Yeah, I'm actually been super happy with you guys and how that process has been going. So we use a tool that I signed on with when I first started, and it worked at that time. They made some changes over the years, which have not been beneficial for us, and there's no flexibility in it at all, which is a little frustrating.
Mm.
We kind of we suffer through it, and it works. Our biggest hurdle right now is connecting everything with our our billing side of it,
Yeah.
which we're working with you guys on, and you're working on it. And I'm very happy about that. That you're just like not going to throw your arms up and say, "Well, hell with it then."
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we get this figured out, and I'm assuming that we will, and I'm actually very much looking forward to it because it looks like a pretty awesome tool. From what Caleb showed us, it seems to address all of the little inconsistencies in the bulk side of things.
Yep.
So that stuff is addressed, and it's not not a big generic thing that covers everything. And that's, for us, that's exactly what we need.
Yeah. Well, and that was the reason why we started this. And again, Zach's talking about our bulk TMS solution. And if you've listened to their podcast or even a member, you probably know what we're talking about. But just in simple terms, we've expanded way beyond bulk loads in the marketplace to really create a start to finish solution for managing, tracking, invoicing all your loads, and it's all embedded. And we've simplified that process in there. But yeah, I wanted you just to talk about that because I know they've spoken highly of you, and man, it's just awesome, the relationship. And I think that's one way that we've tried to almost pride ourselves that, hey, we can really customize and work with you to build these tools. We're not ginormous out there where we can't make decisions or say, hey, that can't be done. Or, I like what everybody, it is what it is, or, take it or leave it or whatever. But yeah, it's been a great product, and man, I've been excited as we keep building this out, and thankful for people like you that have given us the opportunity and been patient with us to help kind of build this with you along the way.
I guess I would say it was unexpected. I didn't expect this whole process to take place. I just figured, like, well, at some point they're just going to say to hell with you, and it's not worth it. But the continued support and feedback it has been absolutely wonderful. And another thing that I'm really looking forward to is the app side of it. I have been in contact with a few different people over the years to try to, not just for the bulk side, but for our road construction side or snow removal side, to basically like create our own app. We're such a paper heavy industry.
Yep.
Especially in the bulk side. That I think that just needs to go away at some point.
Yeah.
And I do think that it will. It's so much more hassle free. Everybody is everything on their phone already anyway.
That's right.
Why not just continue this process a little bit more? And I'm excited for that part of it for sure.
Yeah, it's been a transition. Obviously, COVID has sped some of these processes up, and now I think a lot more people, even versus 2 or 3 years ago, are more open to digitizing these processes, which we've done. Sure. And yeah, I think even in the next 5 years, you're going to see crazy transformation because the industry is demanding it. And we're not doing it just to be green or green friendly, but it's just an easier process. And that's a value that you get from that. But everybody wins when we can do this process. Well, Zach, I know you're busy. I want to get to the heart of this conversation. I know every listener is wanting to know, how did you meet your wife on BulkLoads? Like, I didn't know that. Like, when Austin and Caleb told me that, they're like, hey, this is like you guys are also like a Match.com or whatever that is.
Right.
And what's interesting, I'm gonna let you talk, but it is amazing how many people today meet online, but never in my wildest dreams would I've ever thought BulkLoads would introduce two couples together. So I'm gonna let you take it from there.
Well, and not only did we meet through it, but we used it as a way to to kind of relate, connect, and specifically and I haven't been on it in a while, but the the middle school shouting matches on
On the forum?
on the forum. I mean,
Middle school shouting matches. I like that. I've never heard that one. But
I mean, it's it's a way to, it reminded me of being a teacher, and reading through some of it and saying, "Oh my God, did you see the post from so and so? Yeah, look at the feedback. Oh my God, it's crazy." Well, so anyway, um, it's just she had something. She had some freight posted, in a lane that, I had started running in, and it was a new name. The company wasn't new, but I had not seen it before. I just don't think that they were posting that much on there.
yep.
So anyway, they were based out of Minnesota, up in the cities, and so I, like I did everybody else, I just called up and just was curious as to what the lane was. The load had been covered, and what drew me to her was I must have made her laugh or something.
Yeah.
And it was
How did the
laugh.
conversation go?
Well, I have an awful memory, but it was just, hey, I'm calling on, whatever, Omaha I can't remember where
Yep.
it was. I don't remember specifically what it was, but I instantly, after I got off the phone, I made a note on my list. I created that contact and said, okay, I need to call her again. And for more than just that was a lane that they ran, but because I liked her voice and I liked her laugh. And beyond that, I didn't know anything else about her. I mean, it was a posted on BulkLoads. So, and it basically just blossomed from there. Like I said, the thing that we connected with on the most was the forum. After we found out, that we both read it, and I started hauling more and more of her freight. Her office was based out of a small suburb of where I spent a significant amount of time with a cousin of mine. We related there as well, and so I would say, 4 or 5 months after the initial contact, she called me one day, and I could tell that she figured out what I looked like, and she was trying to find me on Facebook, but I had my Facebook locked. So she and I should add this, that my sister joined up with me a year after that I started this. So my sister sat next to me. Her and I are partners.
Yep.
And my sister sat next to me, and she looked me up on Facebook through my sister's account. And the next phone call, as I said, it was just like, it was night and day difference. Could instantly tell there was attraction and interest. And then I had booked a load with her, and she sent me the confirmation from her personal email so that I could see the little the little picture icon in the top right from her Gmail account.
It was intentional. It's
100%. And so she was actually she was in a relationship at the time, and which it wasn't, I guess it wasn't going well. I was up in the cities, in the Twin Cities, for some music. She reached out to me, texted me, and I think I asked her out. She might have to clarify that. It's not something that I probably would do. Not really the type. But
how far were you all living away at that time? How far?
So Austin to Minneapolis is about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good drive.
Yeah. So I drove up there. We agreed to a time and place, and I drove up there, and we went on a date, and we went out, and she kicked my butt in pool like 3 games in a row.
Nice.
And yeah, right. Apparently she used to hustle people in college back when she was in college in Mankato.
Oh my gosh, the story keeps getting better.
I know. So anyway, the date went wonderful. Our second date was that whole thing was crazy. So she was at a dairy convention in Madison, Wisconsin, and because she worked for a commodities trader,
Yep.
and on her way back from the dairy convention, she drove down to our family farm. Every fall we have a huge blowout fall party bash. She showed up on our second date to this fall party that's all of my family, all of our close friends at like 10 o'clock at night. And we have a big old dance going on in the barn. And that was our second date.
It sounds like a
And-
Hallmark movie almost. Like,
Oh, yeah, 100%. And mind you, like, the farm is in the middle of nowhere in southeast Minnesota on a single lane gravel road down in a valley surrounded by trees. You can't see anything. It's super dark. And she just shows up. There's no cell service down there. She just shows up at this random place after having been on a date with me one time, and the rest is history.
was she an ag? I know she worked for a commodity trader, but did she grow up on a farm, or was she in?
No. She's actually from Olivia, Minnesota, the corn capital.
Okay.
Olivia. I definitely have to throw that out there. Her college major was in Spanish, but she got into the ag side. She worked at Cargill for a bit, and then jumped on with this trader. And now she's a CPA with her own firm, and she's also has a medical grade skincare spa.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
she's a rock star.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, we can keep talking about that, but she sounds like, I mean, she's very, she knows what she wants. I'll say that.
Oh yeah.
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 Very
Yeah,
forward,
definitely.
not
And
passive.
we continued the relationship long distance for about the first year, and she moved down here, and we bought a house, and got married. Now we got a couple kids, and we're doing good.
Yeah. Well, man, that is an awesome story. I wanted, like, I know probably a lot of our listeners were wanting to hear that. Like, what is he like? I've never heard this on a BulkLoads podcast. Why is he talking about this? But I think it's a great story. And
I mean, for the first 4 or 5 months of our relationship, I mean, she thought I was. There's no offense here. There's a little bit of a stereotype, some overweight, old trucker guy or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people may think that too, and it's not the case.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, Zach, man, we have talked a lot here, and I think I'm going to land the plane there. Man, this has been a great conversation. Man, I just want to say thank you so much for being a strong supporter of BulkLoads, and man, that means so much to us, allowing us to grow. Man, I love how it's like hit you on in different, not just business, but now you have a family. And
a special connection.
A special connection there. So man, that is just so cool. So hey, we want to say Happy New Year to you and your wife. Hey, thank you so much for for choosing us and being on the BulkLoads podcast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It was fun. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Anytime, jump back on.
Awesome. Cool.
You ever imagine meeting your wife on a load board?
No, I can't.
Yeah, especially, I don't know, just that whole concept just kind of blows my mind, just thinking about that.
Yeah, I want to know what other load boards out there are responsible
Yeah.
for having
Yeah.
a matchmaking.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a cool story. That's awesome to hear, and to know that we were able to be a part of that. And, we're always going to be special in their lives. That's awesome.
Yeah, we need to send them an anniversary gift every year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks, Zach Morem, for coming on with Damel Trucking. Like I said in the beginning, they've been longtime members with us. And Zach even touched in the episode how he uses Bulk TMS, which I mean, we didn't ask him to say the things that he did, but he just went into great detail about how they like the system, they use it, how they're in contact with Caleb and Austin over there, and it's just a big part of their system. So I just want to thank him for going into detail about that. If you're interested about Bulk TMS, if we can really benefit your company there with dispatching, tracking, invoicing, get in contact with us, you can go to bulktms.com. Or you can reach out to Caleb at BulkLoads.com or Austin at BulkLoads.com. But we got some exciting things coming up. We have the Bulk Freight Conference in February 8th and 9th. Larry, you're actually going to be one of our speakers during it.
Hey, that's right. We're going to give an update on the status of the insurance market. But that's just a small part of what's going to be an absolutely fun and enjoyable conference. Great venue, great food, great networking, and a few good speakers as well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was talking to Jared. I've never actually been to the Wonders of Wildlife, so this is going to be my first time going, but I'm excited. Just take a couple hours and go through that alone.
Yeah, it fits us perfectly. I think everybody will have a great time. And like I said, you couldn't ask for a better venue.
So if you go to bulkfreightconference.com, you can get your tickets there. I will tell you that you should probably go ahead and get them now, as spots are limited, and we are slowly running out of spots and tickets to sell. If price point is something that you're worried about, just let us know and we'll cover the cost of your tickets. We really want you there. We're going to have carriers, shippers, and brokers. It's going to be a time to really cover the industry and discuss problems and even come up with solutions. So we want you there, and we're looking forward to it. Other than that, thanks for listening to the BulkLoads Podcast. If you could, just help us out. Like our channel, subscribe to it, share it, and even leave a review for us. God bless.